Welcome back to Turkish Stars Explained, the channel where we break down Turkish stars going global. What's real, what's hype, and what the numbers actually mean. If you're new here, welcome. Grab a drink, get comfortable, and let's talk about the story that's been all over timelines lately, Sandokan. Because the way people are talking about it, you'd think this premiere didn't just air. It arrived. You've probably seen the same phrases repeated everywhere. Ratings explosion, primetime domination, event series, and of course, the name at the center of the conversation, Can Yaman. So today we're answering one simple question that has a lot of layers underneath it. Did Sandokan really dominate prime time? And if it did, what does that domination actually mean? Is it a one-night curiosity wave? Or is it the start of something that can define an entire season? And before we even get into it, here's the most important thing to understand about TV premieres. Premieres are loud by design. A premiere is when marketing peaks, curiosity peaks, and even people who aren't your usual audience show up just to see what the fuss is about. That first episode is where a show gets its biggest free trial moment. But the real test isn't the premiere. It's what happens immediately after. Do viewers stay? Do they return? Do they become invested? That's why I want to frame this video in a way that's actually useful, not just hype. Instead of yelling, it's massive. And calling it a day, we're going to break down the premiere the same way industry people do. What counts as a real ratings moment? What signals matter? What signals don't? And what we should watch for next if we want to know whether Sandokan is a short burst or a long run. Alright, let's start with the basics. Sandokan is one of those titles that carries built-in expectations. It's not just a new series. It's a name with history, nostalgia, and an identity that's already defined in the minds of a lot of people. That matters, because a title like that doesn't walk into the room quietly. It walks in with a reputation, a memory, and a promise. We're bringing something iconic back, but bigger, modern, and more global. Now add one more ingredient. A lead star with a fanbase that's already trained to show up. If you follow Can Yaman at all, you know the story isn't limited to one country. His popularity isn't a single-market situation. It's cross-border, it's multilingual, it's online, and it's extremely mobilized. That doesn't automatically guarantee a hit, but it does something very powerful on premiere night. It guarantees attention. And attention is the first currency of television. Not loyalty, attention. Loyalty is harder. But attention? That's where premieres live. So when people say ratings explosion, what do they usually mean? They mean one of three things. First, the show pulled in a big audience compared to what that time slot normally gets. Second, it beat strong competitors head-to-head in the same primetime window. Third, it dominated conversation online in a way that spilled into mainstream awareness, causing even more people to tune in live or catch up quickly. A ratings explosion can be real, but it can also be a marketing phrase that gets repeated until it feels like a statistic. So what we want to do is separate the emotion from the structure. Here's the structure. A premiere has three audiences. There's the core fan base, the people who are always going to watch no matter what. There's the curiosity audience, the people who show up because it looks big, because everyone is talking, because they've heard the name, or because they like the actor but aren't fully committed. And there's the accidental audience, the people who watch because it's on, because the remote landed there, because the household chose it, or because they're browsing. A strong premiere usually means the show succeeded in pulling all three groups at once. And Sandokan, from the way the conversation exploded, clearly triggered at least two of them immediately. The core fanbase and the curiosity audience. The real question is whether it also captured enough accidental viewers to dominate prime time beyond the fandom. Because domination isn't just fans being loud. Domination is when the show becomes the default choice. The thing even casual viewers choose when there are many options. Now, let's talk about why Can Yaman's involvement is such a big factor in this conversation. It's not just his name. It's what his name represents in the current TV landscape. A bridge between local stardom and global visibility. In the past, actors could be huge domestically without carrying much weight internationally. And international fame used to require very specific pathways. Hollywood projects, major festival routes, or long-term syndication. But social media changed the map. Now an actor can build a transnational audience that behaves like a portable crowd. They don't all watch the same way, and they don't all watch live, but they amplify attention at the same time. That amplification can shift how a premiere is perceived, how it trends, and how quickly it becomes a must-cover story. And here's where it gets interesting. Perception can become momentum. When a premiere is perceived as a major event, people who might not have watched start to think, wait, is this something I should be watching? That's how you get the second wave, the follow-up viewers, the catch-up viewers, the ones who say, let me see what everyone is screaming about. So even if you never see a single official number, you can often detect a real premiere explosion by looking at behavior. Are clips spreading fast? Are reaction posts multiplying? Are non-fan accounts discussing it? Are entertainment outlets writing about it as a cultural moment rather than a normal TV drop? Are people arguing about it? Because controversy, hype, praise, criticism, it all does the same thing at first. It increases the sense that the show matters. Now, let's zoom in on prime time itself. Prime time is basically the heavyweight division. Everyone is fighting for the same thing: household attention. Families, couples, groups of friends, casual viewers. That's where the big stage lives. And if a show is said to dominate prime time, it's usually because it didn't just win, it won in a crowded arena. But dominance has levels. Level 1 is winning the night. That's impressive, but it can happen because of timing, luck, or a weak competitor lineup. Level 2 is winning in multiple segments. That means different demographics, different viewer types, different regions. That's harder. Level 3 is creating a habit. That's the holy grail, where week after week viewers return. That's when sponsors, networks, and platforms start acting like the show is more than a hot premiere. So when people say Can Yaman dominates prime time, what we should really ask is, are we talking about level 1, level 2, or level 3? Because level 3 can't be proven on night 1. It can only be built. However, and this is important, night 1 can still be a statement. A premiere can prove that the show arrived with force. It can prove that the marketing worked, the star power worked, the concept worked, or at least that curiosity is huge. And in many cases, that's enough to reshape the entire season's conversation. Now, let's talk about what makes a premiere actually stick. Because a lot of premieres explode, and then quietly fade. The premiere is powered by curiosity, but the second episode is powered by satisfaction. People return only if they feel rewarded. So what creates that reward? First, clarity. Viewers need to understand the world quickly without feeling lost. Second, a strong emotional hook. Something that makes them care. Third, a reason to return. A question that isn't just a cheap cliffhanger, but a genuine, I need the next chapter. And fourth, performance. Not just acting, but presence. The feeling that the lead actor isn't just there, but carrying the show with gravity. This is where Can Yaman becomes the key conversation point again. Because for a series like Sandokan, the lead can't be neutral. The lead has to be iconic. The character must feel like a myth, but also human. That's not easy. It's a balancing act. If the performance is too polished, it can feel distant. If it's too casual, it can break the legend. So when fans say he dominated, it can mean two things. It can mean he dominated attention online, the conversation. Or it can mean he dominated the actual episode, the screen. And those are not the same. But if both are true at once, you get something rare. A premiere that becomes a cultural event, not just a TV episode. Now let's address something else that people often misunderstand. Ratings aren't only about quality. Ratings are about friction. If it's easy to watch, more people watch. If it's hard to access, fewer people watch. If the schedule is confusing, fewer people show up live. If the platform experience is smooth, catch-up numbers rise quickly. So for a modern show like Sandokan, domination might not be a single number. It might be a combination: live viewership, same-day catch-up, next-day streaming, clip performance, and online engagement. This is why these conversations get messy, because different countries and different outlets measure success differently. Some people only respect live TV. Some people only care about streaming. Some care about global trend charts. Some care about social media. But here's the truth: the industry cares about all of it, because all of it affects money, renewals, and future deals. Now let's zoom out and ask, why is Sandokan being framed as a global moment in the first place? Because the entertainment world is currently obsessed with one idea: exportable hits. Every network and platform wants shows that travel, shows that can sell internationally, shows that can trend in more than one country. And having a star with an established international fan base makes that dream more realistic from day one. That doesn't mean success is guaranteed. But it does mean the show starts the race closer to the finish line than a completely unknown cast would. And in Can Yaman's case, the fanbase is not passive. It's active. It organizes. It promotes. It clips. It translates. It defends. It debates. It creates an ecosystem around the content. That ecosystem can keep a show alive even during quieter weeks. It can push the show into spaces where it would never naturally appear. It can turn a premiere into a movement. That's why the primetime domination narrative matters. It's not just ego. It's positioning. If Sandokan is accepted as a primetime powerhouse, it becomes easier to sell internationally, easier to negotiate partnerships, easier to attract sponsorship, and easier to frame as the season's big title. Now, here's where we have to be honest. Premiere hype can be manufactured. It can be created by aggressive PR, influencer campaigns, and coordinated posts. So how do you know whether the explosion is organic? You look for unpredictability. Organic hype is messy. It includes criticism. It includes jokes. It includes mixed reactions. It includes, I didn't expect that. It includes arguments between fans and casual viewers. Manufactured hype is too clean. Everyone posts the same message. Everyone uses the same phrases. Everyone sounds like a press release. So if Sandokan's conversation felt chaotic, if you saw praise, hate, memes, excitement, comparisons, that's a sign of real impact. Because real impact triggers real emotion in multiple directions. And let's talk about comparisons, because this is where the conversation becomes intense. Whenever a show is framed as dominating prime time, people immediately compare it to other heavy hitters, past hits, current rivals, iconic series. That's normal. That's the TV version of saying, is this a champion or just a strong debut? Comparisons can be unfair, but they reveal something. People believe the show is relevant enough to be compared. And relevance is the first step toward legacy. Now, a lot of you might be wondering, okay, but what exactly should we watch next to see if this dominance is real? Here are the signals that matter most, and I'm going to explain them in plain language. Signal 1, the second episode drop. Almost every show drops after the premiere. The question is how much. A small drop is healthy. A huge drop is a warning. Signal 2, the retention curve. Even if you don't have official numbers, you can feel retention in how people talk. Are they still posting clips from episode 2? Are they still debating? Are they still asking questions? Or did the conversation die after the premiere hype? Signal 3, the new viewer effect. This is when you see posts like, I never watched this type of show, but I tried it. Or, I wasn't planning to watch, but... That's the show escaping the fandom and reaching the mainstream. Signal 4, international chatter that isn't just fan pages. When bigger entertainment accounts, media outlets, or neutral reviewers start covering it, that means the story has crossed a boundary. Signal 5, the meme threshold. This sounds silly, but it's real. When a show starts producing memes, it's becoming part of culture. Memes are basically free marketing powered by the audience. Now let's talk about what could make Sandokan not just a hit, but a long-term phenomenon. It needs what I call 3 engines. Engine 1, the story engine. The plot has to generate consistent curiosity without feeling repetitive. Engine 2, the character engine. Viewers need to attach emotionally to at least one character, and ideally multiple. Engine 3, the spectacle engine. A title like Sandokan needs visual identity. It needs moments that feel cinematic, moments that feel like, this is bigger than ordinary TV. If all 3 engines run at once, the show becomes something people don't just watch, they experience. And again, Can Yaman fits directly into the character engine and the spectacle engine. If his presence is strong enough to create iconic scenes people clip and replay, that becomes a fuel source for the show's longevity. Now, I want to address something that often gets ignored in these conversations. Primetime domination is not always about love. Sometimes it's about curiosity mixed with skepticism. People tune in to see if something is really as big as everyone claims. They tune in to see if the star is really worth the hype. They tune in to judge. They tune in to compare. They tune in to talk about it. And for TV, that still counts as a win because tune in is tune in. The show gets the attention it needs to establish itself as an event. And in a crowded content world, being an event is half the battle. So, did Sandokan really have a ratings explosion? Here's the honest answer based on the kind of signals we can observe without pretending we have perfect data. Sandokan's premiere clearly created an event-level attention spike, and the conversation around Can Yaman amplified that spike into a narrative of domination. That doesn't automatically prove long-term dominance, but it does prove something valuable. The show has arrived with enough force that people are treating it like the story of the week, maybe even the story of the season. And that matters because once a show gets that label, it starts influencing everything. How competitors respond, how media covers it, how fans behave, and how future episodes are judged. The show becomes bigger than itself. It becomes a scoreboard. Now, let's get into what makes Can Yaman such a central piece of this. It's not just that he has fans. It's that he has a specific kind of stardom, the global heartthrob archetype. That archetype comes with a built-in dynamic. People either buy into it completely, or they want to challenge it. That creates polarization, and polarization drives conversation. And conversation is the oxygen of modern entertainment. If everyone agrees something is fine, it disappears. If people argue, it stays alive. So even criticism can accidentally strengthen a premiere's impact, because it keeps the show in the spotlight. Now, if you're watching this as a fan, you might be thinking, okay, but I want the show to win because it deserves it. That's valid. If you're watching this as a neutral viewer, you might be thinking, I don't care about fandom wars, I just want a good series. Also valid. But either way, the best thing you can do right now is watch the next few episodes and look for whether the show earns loyalty, not just attention. Because attention can be bought. Loyalty has to be earned. And the next episodes are where that earning happens. Let's talk about the risks, because yes, even a massive premiere has risks. Risk 1. The weight of expectation. When a premiere is framed as dominating, the audience expects every episode to feel bigger. That's hard. Risk 2. The backlash cycle. A big premiere triggers backlash, and backlash can become louder than the show itself. Risk 3. Pacing. Some shows open with fireworks and then slow down. Viewers feel the shift and leave. Risk 4. Hype fatigue. If the marketing keeps screaming biggest ever, week after week, it can exhaust the audience. So Sandokan's challenge now is not to stay loud, it's to stay compelling. If the story stays compelling, the show can convert the curiosity audience into a core audience. That's where long-term rating strength comes from. Now let's also talk about the global angle one more time, because this is where things get very strategic. If Sandokan is positioned as a global series, it will likely be judged by global standards: production quality, action, cinematography, international pacing, and distribution. This matters because different markets have different expectations. Some audiences love slow character building. Some want constant momentum. Some want romance. Some want action. Some want big world building. A show that travels well usually finds a balance. It keeps enough local identity to feel authentic, but it uses storytelling rhythms that international audiences can follow easily. And that's where the Can Yaman factor can be huge. If the actor already has international recognition, international audiences are more likely to try the show. That opens doors. So whether you're a fan or not, you can recognize what's happening here. Sandokan isn't just trying to win a night. It's trying to win a place in the global conversation. And the premiere, from the volume of discussion alone, looks like it succeeded in getting its foot in that door. Now here's the part one want you to remember. The real story hasn't even started yet. Because premieres are about introduction. The real story is about what comes after. Will the show build a weekly habit? Will it create characters people emotionally attached to? Will it deliver moments that go viral for the right reasons? Will it sustain its identity without collapsing under hype? That's what determines whether ratings explosion becomes a season-long narrative or just a headline that aged badly. So here's my prediction, not as a guarantee, but as a realistic scenario based on how TV works today. If Sandokan's next episodes maintain strong pacing, keep the stakes rising, and give Can Yaman a few truly iconic scenes that people can't stop sharing, then the show won't just be a premiere hit. It will become a weekly event. But if the show leans too heavily on marketing and star power without delivering consistent story rewards, then the premiere will be remembered as a big night, not a long run. And that's what makes this exciting. Because right now, we're at the moment where anything is possible. Alright, now I want to hear from you. Did you watch Sandokan's premiere? If you did, be honest. Was it a true event or did it feel overhyped? And if you didn't watch it yet, are you curious enough to try after seeing the internet go crazy? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read them, and I'm using your opinions to decide what to cover next, because this channel isn't just about headlines, it's about understanding what's actually happening behind the hype. If you enjoyed this breakdown and you want more videos like this, more Can Yaman updates, more global Turkish star stories, more what the numbers actually mean, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next upload. And trust me, the next video is going to be spicy, Because if Sandokan really is the start of a season-defining run, then the next episodes will give us the proof, or the plot twist. Thanks for watching Turkish Stars Explained, and I'll see you in the next one.